Hello and welcome! My name's Heather. I'm a registered professional counselor and a certified life coach. And today I'm going to be analyzing Damian and Giannina's relationship in Love is Blind After the Altar. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to get more analysis videos like this. Alright, let's get to the show.
I thought I'd never want to speak to Damian again. But we ended up talking that entire night and we realized that the love was still there. So I ended up giving him a second chance.
So I'm not going to be analyzing the individuals per se. This is not a therapy session. I'm not here to diagnose people. The point of these videos is to use these situations as jumping off points to talk about more broader topics related to psychology and counseling theories, things like that.
Things are different and messy. We're still not married. We're not living together. But I still believe in marriage. I still believe in love. And I just love him so much.
It sounds like Giannina and Damian still have some communication issues that stem from the very beginning when they first met. It's one of those reoccurring issues that seems to come up a lot in their relationship, and I'm not sure exactly how they've tried to resolve it. From what I can remember, Damian had issues with how Giannina communicated. So he felt that she was very loud and that she was screaming at him, and she said that it was her culture, that that's how they communicate. They're very loud, they're very expressive. That's completely understandable. But how do you work together? How can you communicate that's functional for the both of you to feel heard and understood?
Beautiful.
Thank you, bye.
I'm just gonna park real quick, I'll be right in.
Okay, yeah.
So it looks like he's going on a date. Who is she?
Hi. Come sit.
You're beautiful.
You look good as well.
Who's Francesca?
Francesca and I met a few months ago. We set up a dinner with friends and turned into this big scandal. And for Giannina, that was hard.
Now, is that crossing a line? Maybe. Maybe he does hold hands with all of his friends who are females. I think it really depends on the intention behind holding each other's hands and also how his girlfriend feels about it. To a lot of people, perhaps that is something that is very inappropriate. I'm sure that you could imagine that if you found a picture of your spouse holding hands with someone else of the opposite sex who's very attractive, it might bring up feelings of jealousy or concerns or worries.
Francesca's like hot, right? Too hot to handle. But love the new hair too. I see you got that done. So very pretty.
You look amazing.
It is clear that they have some form of attraction to each other just by the way that they talk to each other, by the way they look at each other, they're laughing, they're complimenting each other. I don't know about you, but I don't call any of my friends too hot to handle. My male friends too hot to handle. I mean, no offense.
Francesca flirting with me, like, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel confident and special.
Is he insinuating that when he's with Giannina that he doesn't feel special?
She's also like calm and she talks to you and she asks a lot of questions, but she also listens well. On the other hand, Giannina is spicy. She's very forward. She's very, if she wants to, she's going to speak her mind or yell her mind.
He's comparing both of the girls' communication styles. It sounds like he prefers the way Francesca communicates over Giannina's. Now, it's fine to have a preference, but if you're finding that you're having troubles communicating with your partner, it's best to try to work things out with them directly. Again, that might mean going to couples therapy and talking to a therapist to find effective tools to help you communicate more efficiently together.
I feel like you're never going to be an asshole. You can never be an asshole. It's not who you are. But you can still be you, but still Damian comes first, maybe. You literally need to do what you want to do.
It's one thing to get advice from a long-term friend or a family member, but when you're getting advice from someone who is clearly attracted to you, you have to be cautious and wonder what their intentions are. Because Francesca is saying, Damian, you need to put yourself first, as opposed to, Damian, maybe you should talk to your girlfriend about how you're feeling.
I know that her and Damian are friends, and that's what caused, all the rumors to happen in the first place. And I know Damian's side of the story, and I believe in that, but I don't feel good about it.
She's ready to talk to Damian about it, and it sounds like she chooses to trust him, which is a good sign. It shows that she has a level of security in herself and in the relationship.
It's because we choose each other and we know we're different. And it's what keeps us together too.
This is the narrative or the story that she's telling herself to stay in the relationship, especially with a couple that's gone through this very unique experience together. It's one of the bonds that might keep them together.
I know Giannina will be there, but you're in my life, whether she likes it or not. But it's harsh realities to it, but it's also like I have nothing to hide. I would love for you to come with me if you'd like.
Hold on. So he invited her to their cast anniversary party where he's supposed to be with Giannina, and he insinuated that, maybe it might be a date. This is literally a recipe for disaster. Okay, let's unpack this. Why does Damian want to bring Francesca to their anniversary? One, I think he mentioned that he wanted to introduce her to his other friends and his castmates. And I think for him, Francesca is a friend. So of course it makes sense for him to bring her along, even though she won't know anyone and she's not a part of the cast. So that seems a bit bizarre, but sure. My other question to him is, why now? Why this event? The anniversary event? Why are you thinking this is a good idea? And also, what message are you trying to get across? And to who are you sending that message to? What are your thoughts about Damian inviting Francesca to their anniversary party? Let me know in the comments below. Oh my gosh.
Francesca's here.
Wow, I can't believe that she showed up, but I guess it wouldn't be interesting if she didn't show up. I wonder what Giannina is feeling right now. I'm going to assume that someone in her position would be feeling anger, maybe, frustration, embarrassment, confusion. Is this the most appropriate time to be bringing around another girl? Without your girlfriend's knowledge, might I add.
I'm hurt about this entire situation that I didn't ask to be in at all. I'm just trying to stay composed. I'm just thinking about how this could have been our 2-year anniversary party. Instead, Damian brings another girl, one who caused a fight between us.
I think Giannina is doing a really good job staying composed and not making a scene. Damian is not doing the greatest job trying to smooth things over. He did not handle the situation, in my opinion, very well. What could have Damian done to have made this situation better? Well, he could have, one, not invited Francesca in the first place. He also could have given Giannina a heads up that he invited Francesca to come. The other thing that he could have done was introduce Francesca to Giannina in the first place as soon as she arrived. And in that way, they could have addressed any awkwardness, but instead he decides to show Francesca off and introduce her to his friends and waits until what it appears to be the very end to introduce her to Giannina.
I think he's amazing. I think he's a great person. 90% of our conversations are about you.
Because you guys went to lunch and you hung out.
We went to lunch.
Okay.
Literally the entire time we talked about you.
Maybe most of the lunch they were talking about Giannina and her relationship with Damian, and maybe she did offer some genuine advice for Damian so he and Giannina can work things out. Again, maybe it was edited a certain way so they only showed us them complimenting each other and talking about each other's appearance and kind of flirting.
Yourself in my position. Like, would you feel like you're being really fucked over right now?
Maybe not the most appropriate time or place for Giannina to discuss this, but I think that she's doing a good job considering the circumstances not to make a big scene. She's doing her best to try to communicate in a way that's clear, and she's wanting answers.
Because I know our definition of friends, so I just want to make sure it's not the same definition of friends as you guys. Okay, you understand where I'm going with this?
I do.
I'm not surprised that in this situation she's trying to get very clear on the intentions behind their friendship. I feel that there's a lot of compounding layers of hurt and pain and unresolved issues that is just drowning the relationship, and adding a female friend that you have some form of attraction to into the mix isn't going to fix things.
If you guys were to both get into different relationships, if it didn't work out and you guys wanted to remain in each other's lives, you guys would both need to be cool with it. If you found another boyfriend, you would need to be cool with it if you wanted to stay in your life, and vice versa.
Yeah, but you guys aren't dating.
The other thing that I'm thinking about as well is that Maybe Damian brought Francesca there on purpose to have Giannina react in a certain way. So maybe he was expecting her to create a big scene, to start yelling, to start screaming, and then that would have been his opportunity to say, oh, see, you don't trust me. How can I be with someone who doesn't trust me? And he breaks up with her. Or he was expecting that Giannina would get so upset and so mad that he brought Francesca to the party that she would dump him. If you have any other couples you'd like me to analyze from the series Love is Blind, let me know in the comments below.
You should have been more honest with me that you guys are still together. I don't think I deserved here to be invited here to be spoken to like that.
No, I agree. You should not have been spoken to like that. And that's on Giannina, and that's not on me.
But if you're still together, then I should have been made very clear of that before I came.
It seems like Francesca wasn't aware that they were still together. You can see how Damian was deflecting any responsibility. He was saying that, yeah, Francesca, you shouldn't have been spoken to like that, but that was Giannina's fault and not my fault. Well, in a way, it was your fault because you weren't honest to either one of these women. I'm guessing Francesca is feeling betrayed from Damian because he wasn't honest with her about their relationship status. She probably feels like she's been played and she just wants to get out of there. She probably doesn't want to come across as someone who intentionally tries to break someone else up. This does not make her look good, but again, maybe it's because she wasn't given the proper information that Damian should have given her. Of course, the common denominator in here is Damian. He could have told Francesca, like, oh, hey, just so you know, I'm still with Giannina. We're figuring things out, but in order for us to be friends and in order for us to still talk to each other, there needs to be clear boundaries. I think he's solely responsible for this situation and how it's played out.
Like,
You
insecure and shit
walked
because
off from me. You
get
walked off from me.
comfortable next to her
No,
and not
you
next to
love
me.
this shit. What do you want from me?
Some fucking compassion and for you to know that this
I've
was
given you
not
compassion
easy.
for a long time.
This
What do
was
you
not
want?
easy.
I can understand why Giannina would feel disrespected. Damian keeps asking her, what is it that you want? Damian, what do you want out of this relationship? Because it looks like you don't really want to be in it. Now, there's a lot of you statements, there's a lot of finger pointing. So how could this be communicated differently? Giannina could say, Damian, that was really disrespectful that you brought Francesca to our anniversary party. It really hurt my feelings. And Damian would have to acknowledge how she's feeling and also take ownership for his responsibility in the situation.
Do you need to go to her for advice about our relationship?
Did you go to your friends about advice in our relationship?
We can see that he is trying to flip everything back on Giannina by things that he's saying.
Reason you keep talking to your friends. If you have friends and like you network and you do lives and you do videos to like interact with people, you can be friends with them. And I don't tell you who you can or can't be friends with. I was having lunch with her. It's not me hiding. I give you communication. The communication isn't always returned, but I give you communication.
He's not really taking ownership of any of the actions. Even by inviting Francesca there and have Francesca get confronted by Giannina, he's not taking responsibility for that.
I agree. You should not have been spoken to like that. And that's on Giannina, and that's not on me.
The term gaslighting is very common nowadays, and the way that he's flipping everything on her can be a sign of that. But is he really gaslighting her? It's not enough information to really say that, but it's definitely not a good sign. Just the way that he's communicating with her. He's saying that everything's your fault. It can be used as a tactic to not take any ownership of your role.
I put you in a situation that's uncomfortable for you. I'm sorry for that. I had Francesca here to meet my friends. I wanted you to see, hey, if Damian's strong enough as a man to bring her here, he must be confident enough in where him and I stand.
He did apologize for putting Giannina in that situation, but then he goes to defend himself as to why he brought Francesca there. So he's saying that he brought Francesca there for him, that he was trying to prove that he was strong enough. What's the point of that? How is that going to fix your and Giannina's relationship unless you don't want it fixed? So it's interesting that he has that narrative or that thought process as to why bringing Francesca there was a good idea. If you don't want to be in that relationship, or if you feel like it's not working, or if you find that you are attracted to someone else and if you want to pursue that relationship, then end the relationship that you're in now. That could be an option. It's better than trying to string everyone along. If you find that you are attracted to someone else, but you want to stay in that relationship, then you're going to have to draw some boundaries with this friendship or with this other person that you're attracted to.
Really? I'm done talking.
Damian was trying to make a statement that was very passive. And I think that by asking Giannina consistently, what is it that you want? He's trying to get her to define the relationship, even though he's not happy in it. I don't know if he's happy in it. These are just speculations. But by how things are playing out, I would say he doesn't want to be with her. A lot of the times people stay in relationships out of comfort, even if they know that it's not working out, if they know that they don't want to be in that relationship anymore. A lot of times people just stay in it because they don't know how to leave the relationship. People need to realize that love isn't always enough to stay in a relationship. You both need to have that sense of commitment, that friendship, that communication, honesty, trust. There's so many other things that go into having a successful relationship. Love by itself isn't always going to cut it. So I'm curious to know whether or not all these other elements are being met in the relationship. It seems that Damian has 1 foot in the relationship, 1 foot out of the relationship. I think that Giannina is feeling really confused and frustrated because she's trying her best to make the relationship work. But on some level, they're not connecting anymore. They're not even really communicating. If you go back and actually listen to their conversations, and again, it could be their style of how they're communicating. It's not the most functional way, but that's where going to a couples therapist can be really helpful. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and check out my other therapist reviews videos. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be kind and love yourself.